Welcome to Rhyme or Reason, a one-off show that explains how to construct the perfect poem and make it heard. I'm Max Eagle and welcome to the show. Throughout the ages, poetry has been the pinnacle of expressing your writing creatively, and up until recently, performance poetry has entered the mainstream. Later on in the show, I'll be reciting one of my own poems for you, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's look more into how you can get from novice to confident performer. So, you've never performed a poem in your life, but you want to. Don't panic. One of the worst things to do is to build up nerves before writing, and even worse, before a performance. This is counteractive, and it's much better to take it slowly. Don't put any time restraints on yourself, and let your creativity flow. Next, you need to think of a theme for the poem. Is it love, hate, observation? The list is endless, but make sure the theme is clear, as your audience will have a hard time taking in your poem if the message is confusing. Using a clear theme works very well, and you can use poetry workshops and themed open mic nights around your area to influence your thinking. In Portsmouth, one of the biggest open mic nights for poetry and creative writing is the Front Room. The Front Room was started by Johnny Sackett and Elaine Hamilton, an arts event producer and a poet who I know well. If you're looking to become an official poet, the connections you make are so crucial. It will open new doors and new experiences, and you never know where they'll take you. Anyway, here's a little about my night at the Front Room a few months ago. Here in Albert Road, I stopped off at Aurora Cafe to come and listen and participate in an evening of poetry and song in the Front Room, run by a good friend of mine, Johnny Sackett. Evenings like this are plied with different types and styles of poems, just as there are different types of people who come along to perform. When performing, it's important to have confidence in your convictions, and having a sense of pride in the style you've chosen will stand you in good stead. For example, here is Stella Barhin performing a poem about her late child in the style of a villanelle. Rather than let me explain what a villanelle is, I'll let Stella fill you in.
This is a villanelle. It's a poem that repeats. It comes from the Latin, like barn dancing, where you go round in circles. That's what the poem does, that's what the words do. The words dance round in circles. So there's a refrain. One of the parts of the refrain goes, "The heart blowing bare, no gloves, no safety hat. Loving like this means loving like that. Like a seed in the wind, speeding to earth or stone. The heart blowing bare, no gloves, no safety hat." It's a recommendation and caveat. Those nearest to us show how far we're alone. Because loving like this means loving like that. You, weighty in my arms as a gold cat, and as yielding as bait. Me, still on my own, the heart blowing bare, no gloves, no safety hat. Words shiver with meaning, even idle chat brings whisperings of angels, hushings of bones, because loving like this means loving like that. Singing a fanfare like a requiescat, the flight on course, the destination unknown, the heart blowing bare, no gloves, no safety hat. If I looked down, fears could run my mind like rats. But wherever I'm going, at least I've flown. Because because loving like this means loving like that. The heart blowing bare, no gloves, no safety hat. Thank you.
Now here's me performing my take on a villainette called Shh.
Shh. Don't keep secrets. We keep surprises. As you both sit in different seats in my auditorium, none of you can sit in my front row, as that is fully booked with my fears. Shh. If you listen closely, you can hear my mind killing itself, dousing itself in the macabre butter on the unpopped corn that my mind seems to withhold. Shh. I sit in the director's chair and all I can see is my life on display. I cry whilst exclaiming my work to many and all that knew me. Shh. As my mind runs out of film, the reel can be replaced. And look, it seems to have been. Shh. Are we all taking this analytical view of my many mistakes and premonitions? Shh. Listen. The curtain drops and reopens. Thank you.
My thanks to Johnny and Elaine for putting on such a fantastic show, and to all performers for braving the stage. So, you have a poem. You're happy with the rhyming schemes and the persona you've taken within it. It makes sense on paper, and someone else has given you their opinion of it. Great, you're nearly there. Now, it's time to make your poem heard. Starting to think about performing your work can feel daunting at some points, and that's okay. Nerves are natural, and there's no point in becoming more nervous because of your nerves. Take a few deep breaths and start reading your poem aloud. After reading aloud, you may find that there needs to be some changes in your work. Not too major, but just a few minor tweaks to ensure the words flow well when you're speaking. This is when you can use something called an iambic pentameter to ensure that the rhythm of your poem is consistent. An iambic pentameter is a line of words or verse with stressed and unstressed syllables. Without going into too much detail, as an example, the word remark consists of 2 syllables. Re is the unstressed syllable with a weaker emphasis, while mark is stressed with a stronger emphasis, re-mark. See? In poetry, a group of 2 or 3 syllables is referred to as a foot, would you believe? A specific type of foot is an iamb. A foot is an iamb if it consists of 1 unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable, so the word remark is an iamb. Moreover, pent means 5 in Greek, so a line of iambic pentameter consists of 5 iambs, 5 sets of unstressed syllables followed by stressed syllables. For example, here is an excerpt of poetry with an iambic pentameter. Listen out for the unstressed and stressed syllables. I read, then chased the sun around the house to fuse the inspiration and the words I'll use to write a poem after dark. Not too bad, eh? Did you hear them? And finally, now you know all about how to create the perfect rhyming scheme. How about who's going to perform your poem? Now, hold on a second. You're probably thinking, wait, I'm going to perform this. What do you mean, who? I'm talking about personas, an act which you put on in order to give the poem more realism. It's up to you as to whether you think your poem needs it or not. So, you can now officially style yourself as a performance poet. Go out there, project, experiment, and most importantly, enjoy. Thank you for watching Rhyme or Reason. I've been your host, Max Eagle. Happy performing.